Well, it seems that this has not been the complete success that I wanted. Uh, no, it is not a silent movie. Nothing I could do about the 2 days there, Bill, and I'm learning this craft still, guys. Please bear with me. Let me make sure I have sound on at all. Okay. Everything else is fine. And yeah, not stroked out yet, but getting there. That's kind of a true statement, guys. Um, okay, there we go. I was supposed to have a guest today, but he had to cancel just over 2 hours ago. He did let me know. So if you're out there, I got the message. So I put a link to join the stream at the top because what the hell? Why not? I didn't have a backup plan. That sucks to be me, doesn't it? And the news this week has not specifically caused me to stroke out yet. I think I know what Ozzy's referring to, the gun control, bipartisan gun control announcement. So since I don't have anything else to work with, I'm going to go with the news of this week. Yay! Let's talk about that. Hey, Luke, Ozzy, Bernie, Squatch, Bill, I know you're out there somewhere. Geez, I sound like an 80s movie right now. Moving right along. Apparently this week, the the Senate came up with a bipartisan gun control bill. Now, I haven't seen the details yet, but I can already tell you it's a hot load of dog shit. The few that I have seen, it's going to raise the age to buy a long arm to 21. Now, let me make sure I still got that screen because I may have accidentally, I closed. God damn it. I have got to find a screen that I had open because there's an interesting little detail about this law, this new law. It will be absolutely astounding to 90% of you out there. You think you know. I don't. Here we go. Share a different screen. Okay, I'll fix that later. Just want to share a different screen, guys. Come on. Is it really that hard to understand? (10) USC Chapter 12, Section 246. I can recite it from memory. I can recite that part from memory. This part, I want to make sure I read it exactly as written, so there can be no question or doubt that I actually read the law. The Section 246, militia, composition, and classes. All four of those words should be capitalized. I don't know why people do this, other than laziness and stupidity. But moving right along. A. The militia of the United States consists of all able-bodied males at least 17 years of age and, except as provided in Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age who are or who have made a declaration of intention to become citizens of the United States and female citizens of the United States who are members of the National Guard. You notice, even in this opening line, they take a moment to point out National Guard, specifically as it applies to female citizens. B, the classes of the militia are, 1, the organized militia, which consists of the National Guard and Naval Militia, and flag on the plate. To the best of my knowledge, there currently is not a naval militia. Closest thing we have right now is Coast Guard Auxiliary, which is not a militia. It is a private, nonprofit organization that exists to help the Coast Guard with our search and rescue, courtesy inspections, that sort of thing. They also do a lot of the background stuff that you don't see, like watch standing, comms watch. They do a lot of that sort of stuff. 2, the unorganized militia, which consists of members of the militia who are not members of the National Guard or Naval Militia. Holy shit, guys. Well, I think we just blew up that the militia is the National Guard story. But we also blew up something else. I really, really want to emphasize this. All able-bodied males, okay, at least 17 years of age and except as provided under Section 313 of Title 32, under 45 years of age. Now, I, under this law, just aged out a couple months ago. I did my active duty and my active reserve time, right? I don't have anything left to answer for. But from the day I turned 17 until the day I turned 45, if I had never joined the military, I would still qualify. Oh my. With absolutely no apologies to George Takai. Bring the chat back up. One of these days, I'm going to be like professional grade and know what the fuck I'm doing here. Until then, I'm just making it up as I go along. There we go. Make sure it's right. Going over the chat really quick. Wrench holders. Computers are fast but dumb. No, Ozzy, in this case, it is not just the machine. It is the operator. This machine, I'm trying to use old Chevy Sprint, like an 18-wheeler. All right. And that's not fair to the computer. Also, it's me. I could be a lot better at this. Ozzy says, I give fair warning of a country 30 years further down the road, further down the red path, or greenies, best referred to as watermelons, by a caller on Dr. Savage's show. Green outside, red inside. Very interesting. I get it, though. Beware of what they intend. Act accordingly. I'll come back to that in a second. Not American and not able-bodied as they meant it. Ozzy, I am aware of both details. However, I guarantee you, if you search Canadian law, you'll find an analogous law somewhere. And if I have to go look it up for you, I will, but I'll say bad words. As for the second part, I'll talk to you about that later. I don't know MS-DOS from PDF, so we'll move on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this idea that we can restrict long arms to 21 and over directly violates previous federal law. It is an exactly contrary declaration. Oh my. Well, we might have a problem here. Now, a simple solution, of course, once they realize what they've done, they're gonna go back and they're gonna fix it. And okay, all right, that's fine. Then they'll raise the National Guard to 21 to 45, or maybe they'll raise it to 21 to, well, basically 50. Okay, all right, fine. They'll do that. But in the meantime, we have a very, very strong prima facie case to have this new law declared illegal because of previous law that makes it impossible to comply. Oh, all right, flag on the plate. There is a law, and it's every country on earth has some version of this. It's left or right, not too hard to figure out from there. The law says you have to drive on one side of the road or the other. It has been like that since the first vehicle law came out. I'm sure 90% of them, this is literally the first vehicle code, and it was just a continuation of pre-automobile law, road laws, or whatever the hell they would have called it back then. All right? Not that it's terribly important, but I actually do know a little bit about the history of why in the United States and related countries, we drive on the right side of the road, and in Europe, they drive on the left. And different countries around the world adjust accordingly. All right? It's not important right now. That is the way it's set up. Okay? Now, imagine that they came up with a new law that says if a vehicle is behind you, you must pull to the center or to the direction least impacting the vehicle behind you. And you're driving along, and the only way to get out of that guy's way, because he's speeding, he's going to get busted for his own shit later. That's on him. Right now, you legally have to get out of his way, and the only way you can get out of his way is to move across the double yellow lines. Wait, hold up. That's illegal because now you're violating a previous law. You can't drive into oncoming traffic just because somebody else is speeding. Oh, that would be a stupid law. Now, of course, that's a ridiculous analogy, but I can come up with 1,000 more. Somebody drop it in the chat. I'd love to see an example that I should address. If the court is carried, that is a problem. If be careful to drive on both sides at once. Be difficult to drive on both sides at once. Well, no, Ozzy, I guess you could have your left wheels on one side and right wheels on the other. Ozzy is from Canada, guys. They drive on the right side of the road. You notice I said right, not correct. You Euros, mind your manners. Moving right along. All right. So, how are we supposed to obey one law if there's another law that tells us we can't obey it? I would love to see that. Hey, Rob, who the hell drives on the road when the sidewalk is always clear? Rob, no. damn it. You guys are trying to get me in trouble. You're succeeding too. All right. Ozzy a few minutes ago said, beware of what they intend and act accordingly. It's not just the extreme left. There's extreme right. And then there's some others out there. And if I had known last night that my guest today would have to cancel, I would have addressed those others today. There is a natural consequence to everything you do. One of the natural consequences of me still doing these live streams, even though the pandemic is long since over, I lose time at work, right? I lose 10 hours every week that I could be on the clock. So, and it's a small loss. Oh, excuse me. For me, it's a small loss that I would have actually lost anyway, but that's not the point here. Just like there's a natural consequence for any policy decision, right? Shit. Let's talk about traffic laws, since I was there just a second ago. A natural consequence of any new traffic law is the things that come as a result. And because I'm going to be doing this rant here in a few days, roundabouts. Roundabouts are the worst traffic control device ever. I used to live in Sacramento. I remember the traffic calming project from K Street down to what was it? B. All right, and from roughly 5th Street down to Alhambra. They put in a bunch of roundabouts and diversions and everything else, and all that did was made everything fucking confusing as shit. I remember trying to navigate this shit and thinking, I need a local guide to get through here. This is ridiculous. It gets better. Those traffic calming projects were ripped out almost 10 years ago now, because after they put them in, traffic accidents skyrocketed 50% within 6 months. 50% over what they had been a year before. And I don't know the actual numbers off the top of my head. The year before, there had been, let's say, 12. The whole year, 1 per month. Now, there's 18 accidents in 6 months. All right, 3 accidents per month. It took them 5 years to finally get the hint. This is not working. This is making it worse. Now, Papa Carey tells me that they're putting a roundabout in Shasta County. It's going to be their first. And they talk about how it works everywhere else. Well, you know what? Take a look at Sacramento and what they did. They ripped their roundabouts out because it made everything worse. It's a natural consequence of putting a Norman door up, and they're not going to do anything about it until somebody dies. And I'm just glad I'm not there. I'm hoping that Dad can avoid it. All I know is it's on Bonneview somewhere. So great. I know that's a main road from the west to east and back sides of Reading, of the river. Okay, maybe they can, maybe he can take a different way across the river. There isn't a whole lot of them. There's a couple down in Anderson, and there's a couple more up in Reading, but most of them are way the fuck out of the way. So all I can do is Dad, just stay off, Bonneview. They intend, the people who fought so hard to get this roundabout in, they know what the natural consequences are. They intend for there to be a deadly accident, a fatal accident. And it's going to happen. And when it does, people like me are going to say, we told you so. Okay. I got to catch up with the chat because that was a bit of a rant. It is illegal to tie your horse up in town on Sundays still. No one got around to repealing it. Okay, that's one of those laws that doesn't have a sunset clause because nobody back then would have thought, hey, we need one. However, it is illegal to tie up your horse on Sunday has got to be one of those ones that came from something that happened. Neocon, Neolib, two sides of the same counterfeit coin. No, it's a real coin. Oh, Canada, Aussie. Canada lifted restrictions on domestic travel and leaving on international flights needing VaxPass, but fully jabbed 3 times. What Aussie is referring to there is Der Fuhrer Trudeau, yeah, I said it, fuck you, has magnanimously granted the people the right to travel without getting tested for COVID every time they fucking go to the store, without quarantining for 14 days in a prison, a contract prison through one of the hotels. Okay, great, fine. They were hotels. That's fine, but it's a contract prison, and worse still is you have to pay for your incarceration. That's something that hasn't happened since the medieval ages. Okay, a little bit later than the medieval, but into the Renaissance. Let me rephrase that. Into the era that the American Revolution occurs in, you no longer paid to be in prison. You weren't paid to be there. You were required to be there. You can now travel about the country without testing every time you travel. But you can leave the country without testing. You cannot re-enter the country without testing. This is also the same guy who just signed an executive order of some sort. I don't fully understand this. That you cannot purchase a handgun. You cannot sell a handgun, except to the state, I'm sure. You cannot give your handguns to your kids. On and on and on. Yeah, that happened. And if you wonder why I call him Der Fuhrer, take a guess. This is not a real change. This is still the same dictatorial, borderline tyrant. Maybe he might. Well, actually, he did cross that line with the trucker rally, but he sort of walked it back a little bit on the technical enforcement part. People died in the trucker rally because he slicked his Stufenstaffel loose on them, his SS loose on them. And oh, it was only a couple of people, and fuck you. I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. Just because they're called the RCMP doesn't make them any less of an SS. See, this is one of the reasons why I shouldn't be hosting my own stream. I should be a guest on other people's streams so they can shut my mic off when I get off like that. Rob says, I'm off because of rain at the job site, so I'm getting ready to do a break job for somebody else. Even my days off aren't really days off. Rob, my days off aren't days off either, but my days off aren't as hard as my days on. Ozzy says, is that the fault of the measures or lousy drivers? I think he's referring to the roundabouts. No, it's the roundabouts. It is. There's only one really roundabout that I know of that's ever actually sort of worked, and that would qualify as a minor freeway. That's the God damn it, the big one in Paris. It's I think it's 5 lanes all told. And yeah, well, it's nice of you to do that, Rob. I hope you're at least getting fully compensated for the parts. Ozzy points out that the same people who want to prevent you from having a gun until you're 21 want you to vote at 16. And be sentenced to life in prison at 13 and death at 14. That tends to be more to the right side. We're not going to get into that announcement from 2 days ago, Ozzy. And Ozzy got into a little bit more of the details about what those Canadian COVID prisons really look like from the inside. Okay. Oh, hey, I forgot to tell y'all, I got my hazmat endorsement on Monday. Congratulations, Luke. Everybody drop a thumbs up for Luke getting his hazmat endorsement. That means I think it was 4 times as much pay, potentially, depending on what he's hauling. Oh, I know what Squatch is doing now in the future. Ha ha ha. You let the secret out. Okay. Driving extinction level event juice around. It works. Oh. Oh God, I hope not. Moving right along. Squatch, quit picking on Luke. I've known him as long as I've known you. Actually, I think I've known him longer than I've known you. We love you, Susan. All right. So be very, very careful, really, of any extremist. There are people that I have had to walk away from because of extremist philosophies. There's one that I'm right on the border of just saying, no, I've got to walk away from this now because, and the worst part is she's not what I've seen of her. She's not the extremist. It's those around her that are ridiculous extremists. Worse still is they're dishonest extremists. Take a hint, guys. Never fucking lie to me. If it's something new and novel, I might fall for it. But when I do find out about it, I will fucking drop you like a bad habit. I understand if you lie to me about your real name or where you live, or you just don't say it, or something like that. Personal information, I get that. I don't even like a flag of convenience. Flag of convenience is a legal term, primarily a maritime term. A ship at sea because they know they're entering, let's say, British waters during World War One, and Germans will sink anything flagged as British or British allied, would run up, say, an American flag, so that the Germans cannot legally shoot at them. Well, the Germans got sick and tired of that game, so they announced that any vessel transiting British waters, because the two countries are at war, may be fired upon without notice. That led to the sinking of the Lusitania. For those of you that have heard the legend of the Morte telegrams, oh, no, fuck it, I'll just tell you the legend. Lusitania is about to get underway in a couple of days. And all of a sudden, telegrams ran out from an unidentified, to me, source saying that this vessel may be sunk and you may wish to reconsider getting on board. The psychic powers of the sender, right? No. The first time I heard about it, it was some sort of psychics thing. It wasn't psychic powers. It was probably, and I think I recall hearing this at least once. It was the German Foreign Ministry in the United States, out of their Washington consulate. It might have been a mission, which would be a step down, by the way. Sending a notice to anybody who was getting on that ship that they could find, hey, you know we're at war with Britain. This vessel is transiting through British waters. She may be sunk. There was a lot more to why that particular vessel was specifically identified. But it wasn't just that vessel. It was any vessel going to Britain at the time. They were sending messages to. British, or the Germans rather, also happened to know that the Lusitania was an armed merchantman. Oh, whoa! She was a warship by international law. That made her a legitimate target. Except that that British actually never got around to doing the work related to converting her to a warship. Oops. Or so they claim. Just saying that. Okay, guys, I know about the glow. Yeah, you're right. I'll hit it. Where was I going with that? So yeah, I want to leave it at that for a moment. The subject has come up. The glow. Ozzy, no, this was in the 90s. Modern psychics, not 18 or 19 teens. Okay. The glow refers to the arrest of, I think it was 13 Patriot Front members on their way to Idaho to do something at a pride rally. It's been said that they were caught with assault weapons. I've seen some interesting video of this, and I've heard some very, very interesting things. Now, flag on the play, guys. Not everything that happens is a glow. Not everything that happens is a glow. But with the Whitmer case now quickly running into our rear view mirror of full dismissals for everybody, just get the fuck out of here. You gotta wonder. There are too many coincidences here, even for the guy that hates conspiracy theories more than everything else on Earth. Well, after libertarians. All right. First of all, they were in a U-Haul truck. That's about as nondescript as you can get. Just excuse me, 31. God, I hope that's a mistake. 31 guys in the back of a U-Haul truck. Park your butt, not your car, on any given overpass, on any given day. Just watch one side of the freeway. You will see at least 5 U-Hauls pass underneath you. Oh, well. But they just happened to find the right U-Haul for this. Well, maybe they had something else to work from. Big question. What did they have to work from? Well, maybe they hacked the Telegram group or something. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. We love you, Susan. They just happened to find the right U-Haul in the right place, and they had even 10 guys in the back of a U-Haul. Let me tell you about a U-Haul. You close that door, the door latches, even if you don't put a clip on it or a lock or something. You're stuck in there. All right? You are trapped back there with no air, only whatever food and water you have back there, and no seatbelts, no restraints, no nothing. And they've got even 10 guys. Well, let's split the difference between me and Ozzy and say 20. Right? They've got 20 guys back there, all willing to endure those conditions. No. I'm not buying this. I don't care if it's a big truck. All right? Heard they ran out in April? Okay, this is news to me. I got to let that go for a moment. And no, they were caught in Idaho. They were pulled over in Idaho. I happen to know this because it's the Cottony County Sheriff that actually was responsible for the arrest. I have a connection to that county. A friend of a friend. I've been up there. Without getting into somebody else's personal details, I've been up there. I've been to. Oh God damn it! It's the city where they actually got pulled over. I keep hearing it. It's not Boise. Des Moines. Not Des Moines. That's in Idaho. Fuck. Anyway, I've been through that city. I'm actually familiar a little bit with Government Way because my friend's running joke is everything's on Government Way. You'll never escape Government Way. For those of you that have been there, you know it's true. Literally everything is on Government Way. One way, no pun intended, or another. You're stuck on Government Way. But moving right along. Well, you know what? Let's back this up though. Whether they came out of California, Oregon, or Washington, or maybe they came south out of Utah or north out of Nevada. Either way, they cross state lines. One way or another, they cross state lines. How did they find these guys? How did these guys agree to get into the back of a U-Haul where they were effectively locked up for however long they are, bouncing around back there? I've ridden in the back of a U-Haul. All right. It was, oh, Jesus. Well, it's from Salem, Oregon to Dallas, Oregon, and then back again. All right. Even that, uh, even that mission, which is a total of 20, maybe 30 minutes. Excuse me, 40, maybe 50 minutes. Uh, 15 to 20 there, 15 to 20 back, with about a 3 hour unload time in between. I'm just saying. I would never fucking do that again. Ever. Oh, oh, maybe it was Twin Falls. That's a name that I remember, that I recognize. Either way, um, I would never fucking ride in the back of a U-Haul again in my life. You can't pay me to do that. So, all 20 of these guys agreed to do that, at least across state lines. You don't, just don't, just don't. All right, don't lie to me. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. There's something else to this story, and we're not hearing it, and I'm getting mad. It's as simple as that. Gets a little bit worse. First of all, they were described as having assault weapons. Don't believe you. I don't believe you. If I was on somebody else's channel, they might toss a Ron Burgundy clip in here. Either way, they were all in uniform, which means either they traveled all the way up there in uniform, which is highly unlikely, or they were in the final stages of the mission. They maybe stopped at a hotel in Twin Falls or Boise or wherever the hell it was they stopped overnight. Now they got into the truck and they're headed in the final little way to, oh, I do recall, well, the event that they were supposed to crash was in Cottony County. But whatever. Also, they all had face masks on. Patriot Front doesn't do face masks. So what? And there's a lot about this story that just is not adding up. And like I said, with the Whitmer case, hopefully now just in our rearview mirror and done and basically over with, you can't help but wonder, hey, what the fuck was really going on with this story? Like a lot lizard on payday. Very good. Well, like a woman in a uh, uh, truck stop on payday, right? See, a pickup truck or mom's station wagon is not exactly the same as a U-Haul. Dad's pickup truck, mom's station wagon, flip it around, I don't care. At least then there's something you can grab onto or brace against or something. A U-Haul, there's nothing you can brace against. There's nothing you can really grab onto. I know there's something, there's got to be some degree of truth to this story, but no, it's too many coincidences for it to be a true story. This it doesn't add up anymore. That said, guys, um, if this does prove to even be partially true. These guys would qualify as violent political protesters under Daetslov, which means they will never have a duty to keep and bear arms. They will have a permanent prohibition for the rest of their lives, assuming that it was a violent protest. The fact that they were bringing guns by itself is not absolutely proof of intention to commit violence. I would definitely have some questions, more questions to ask. Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to get into that this time, but Ozzy has pointed out something that you should be very concerned about, especially with the nature of the charges. Oh, fuck it, I'll get into it. Shit. The leading candidate to go against Whitmer was arrested on, I heard, 6 misdemeanors, one of which was a wobbler. Wobbler is not a legal or technical term, but it's a crime that could either go as a felony or as a misdemeanor, depending on the circumstances. It's okay, fine. Shoplifting. Shoplifting can be a felony if it goes over so many dollars, or it's a misdemeanor below so many dollars. Okay. Even that notwithstanding, they arrested the leading candidates and forced him out of the running. Oh, okay. Nothing tyrannical about that. Fuck you. Whitmer is now a full-blown tyrant. She used her military force or paramilitary forces to silence opposition. Oh, Carrie went there. The T word. The word I hate so much that I usually see somebody else talk about it and my PTSD goes off. And then it drags my Tourette's into it. Fuck you. You shouldn't be using this kind of language. You're lying through your teeth, blah, blah, blah. No, this time it's true. Whitmer went there. It is what it is. Anyone in the lay odds, they were on their way to protest a pro-life march. Sure, I'll take that bet, Ozzy, because they were actually on their way to protest a pride event. So far, the story's been very clear. It was a particular pride event. Oh, excuse me. To be perfectly blunt, my problem with pride events has extreme limits. From what I'm hearing about this particular pride event, no, actually, they're fine. You go, you do. All right? Go and, with the grace of God, go. But no kids. And that's a problem that has been coming up of late. Right? I'm sorry, having an 8-year-old girl put dollar bills in a stripper's G-string is not appropriate at any level. Calm down, Carrie. Relax, Carrie. Now, fuck you. That is disgusting beyond any words that I can get into without actually violating YouTube's rules and being very happy to do it afterwards. But I'm not going to. I don't have the words. All right, I don't have the words for this. Hajoka is not good enough. and Hajoka is a death threat for those that speak to Zen. Right? It's a specific death threat when directed at a person, at least. Yeah. Oh, so is Honky, by the way. Apple, take note of that. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to what if this to death. Attempting to get a response from the protesters, then they would leave. Squatch is pointing out that I assume Patriot Front intended to walk around the park in formation, silently attempting to get a response from the protesters, and then they would leave. Maybe that's true. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. So I'll leave it where it stands for the moment. Cheap talk. Compare the video. The last appearance, these Fed-looking guys, they did that exact thing. They changed stuff. Okay. The video that I've seen of these guys, they were all masked. That's suspect as fuck to begin with, because Patriot Front doesn't use masks. That's one of their little calling cards. They don't use masks. Be proud of what you are. 2, I've seen them unmasked in the back of the paddy wagon. Yeah, I said paddy wagon. Fuck you. Wait a second. They're being unmasked on their way to jail in a closed environment with COVID protocols. What? But okay, let's get past that. A couple of them did catch my attention. There's one in particular. He had the biggest scowl I've ever seen on anyone's face. He was quietly seething back there. If I were a Fed and I was trying to look like not a Fed, that might be what I looked like. I don't like Gateway Pundit, and I have heard about that. On the other hand, Fat Boy Slim there, the two-legged jelly roll. Sorry, that was the second fattest man I've ever seen in my life. He actually managed to knock a Houston cop out as the number 2 spot. That Houston cop is now number 3. That guy's not a Fed. Or at least not officially a Fed. Right. Okay. Bernie says you can't make a law that makes parents criminals because their morals don't align with yours. In my opinion. And okay, Bernie and Ozzy are about to start it. And I'm saying stop it now. Listen to me very carefully. There is an extreme difference between raising your kids as Muslim or liberal or Christian or conservative or farmer or factory worker. Because I've been all of the above except Muslim. At one point or another in my life, I've been all the above except Muslim. And having them go to a strip club at 8 years old. And yes, actually, you can make a law saying you can't take your kids to a strip club at 8 years old. Worse still is it wasn't a strip club. It was a place that would normally have been open to kids, but they were holding this special event. And by the way, a sign that says, "It won't lick itself." Are you fucking kidding me? Fucking kidding me. Language like that out of me, with my other histories, would be still particularly startling. All right. I would not use language like that, especially at an event where children were to be anywhere nearby. Ironically enough, making kids is the point of an event like that, and yet, no, I wouldn't have done that. My gross sexual tastes at least involves properly dressed adults. And some people in swimsuits. Okay, women in two-piece swimsuits, or at least a swim top. That's it won't lick itself is a line that if the people that I hung out with back in those days had a sign like that up, somebody would get asked to leave. Like the presenter would not have even allowed that to go up, and probably would have asked somebody to leave right away. As soon as that started going up, take that down and leave. And we'll talk to you next week. Yeah. I'm kind of curious if Ozzy's talking about Muslims or Jews, because it would apply to both. All right. Squatch, that's borderline and you know it. But I'm going to let that one go because he's not wrong. It's going to lick itself? Really, guys? What the fuck were you thinking? That is a crass, crude sexual comment, right? Referring to oral sex on a woman. And I've done it. I will do it again sometime, hopefully very soon. Oh, by the way, love you, Susan. And I still wouldn't put up a sign that says "lick it's not going to lick itself." Got to think, guys. Porn in a group environment is no. Right, we're at an hour. Preview for what I'm going to be doing next as an pure upload. Actually, two previews. First of all, the premiere for October, for reasons that I do not, for reasons I can't prove, is still in a processing state. So rather than fight Apple about this, I'm going to go back. I'm going to remake it. It's going to be an October premiere. And Squatch, I know you're close friends with Cheese, and I haven't seen her here today. So if you could let her know, in case I know Cheese is really busy. My emails have a tendency to get missed a lot. So it is what it is. If you could let her know, because I know she'll be at your house tonight. Folks, house refers to stream, his virtual house tonight. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to redo it. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of a preview on that one. You know, or you have no excuse to not know by now, that there was a trial in Ukraine over war crimes, a war crimes trial in Ukraine. All right. I am specifically going to be referencing that trial as an example of something that is inclusive within the rant. The beauty of this little rant that I'm going to be uploading and premiering in October, doesn't really matter which side you're on. You're both kind of wrong. So think very carefully before you say anything about what's going on in Ukraine. Even if you're right, think very carefully before you say anything. And being very honest, that's a cheap shot at Robert Barnes. But it's a true shot. And yeah, I should have thought about what you were saying, but you didn't. Too bad, so sad. Okay. Well, yeah, especially right, wrong, or indifferent. No, Ozzy, I don't think this is going to be anything like the Nuremberg trials. It's going to be even less spectacular than the Bosnia trials. Love you, Susan. Okay. Sorry, guys. I do have to break away from that for a moment. Get Home Bag was canceled for this stream because I had actually intended to ask my guest what he would put in his bag and then break it down and see if this was a great idea, a bad idea, or something in between. Might have been a great idea. Might have been a terrible idea. No way to know. I do know that the chat is moving, and I will get back to it in a second. Daetslov Act was supposed to be restrictions for this week, but it's been changed. Because I was watching Locked and Loaded Latinos. I think it was Sunday. Bernie, I'm usually on the Sunday show, right? Yeah, never mind. Forget it. I know the answer. The subject of red flag laws came up. Okay. I'm going to get hell from both sides here, so I don't give a fuck. I understand red flag laws. I understand I like the concept. I understand red flag laws. Execution's been total fucking shit. All right. I don't care which side you're really on. The idea is great. The way they've been doing it, basically is written in a way to guarantee somebody's going to kill themselves now. Ask me how I know. Been there, done that. There is a version of red flag laws in Daetslov. Like Windows. Here we go. Act.png. Make sure it's coming through clearly. Yeah, that could be better, but okay. It's called third-party exemptions. For those of you that tuned in, I think it was 2 weeks ago. May have been third. You'll notice that this just looks a little different. You know, what's different? Well, how about I read it? Third-party exemptions. Any person either unable or unwilling to apply for a mandatory exemption. Okay, pause. Unable or unwilling. Unable was the primary intention. Unwilling is the secondary intention, and that's why they're in that order. To apply for a mandatory exemption. And this is mandatory exemptions, not anything else. Continuing on. May have said exemption applied to a court on their behalf. Any person for whom an exemption is requested by another party may petition the court to refuse said exemption. Okay. If you are able to apply for an exemption but unwilling, then this kind of counts towards something, right? If you are unable to apply for an exemption, you probably would be unable to request a petition to refuse. All right, that's the truth. And has the right to a hearing by an impartial jury. Capital letters there, jury. Right? So it must be a jury that's hearing your case. You'll notice it does not say 6-member jury or 12-member jury. I'm kind of leaving that up in the air for now. I understand I should be addressing that at this point, but I'm going to leave that up in the air for now. A judge, based on the testimony and evidence, may overrule a jury upon approval of the exemption by said jury and may not overrule a jury upon denial of said exemption. That last sentence is the change. I actually wrote this while I was watching L3, and I think it was actually Joe who was ranting a little bit. It might have been both of them, but I'm pretty sure I remember hearing Joe's voice in the background as I actually went back and revised even this part. I realize, yes, there are times when people need help, and help they can't get on their own. All right? They don't see that they need help. I've been there. I've done that. I needed help. I couldn't see it. Didn't believe it. Okay, fine. Fuck you. I did that. But where was I going with that little bit of the rant? Anyway, and getting them help should be the primary interest. There is also times when you can bullshit 12 people. It's possible, and there's no such thing as a professional jury, right? Professional is something that actually that claim I'm a professional doctor, lawyer, whatever, can get you kicked off of a jury. Kind of depends on the case, but yeah. You can bullshit a jury. At first, it was just may overrule the jury. May overrule the jury. I had hit the period button, end of sentence. When I caught something, I know this was Joe. Something she said caught my attention. I said, wait. Oh, shit, I need to toss in a way for the judge to overrule a jury. Or make sure that the judge can overrule a jury only if they say yes, only if they agree. Not necessarily any other circumstance. If you are unable or unwilling to apply for a mandatory exemption. And whoever's applying for you can convince 6 or 12 people and a judge together that, yes, there's a reason why we need to tell you no. Okay, I'll buy that. Otherwise, the answer has to be no. Oops. Damn it. Share screen. Back to the chat. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Oh, Bernie, I'm sorry. I hope you didn't miss much. And don't worry about the posts. They'll show up later on. Ozzy wants me to talk about water purification tablets, water purification iodine tablets for Get Home Bag. No. You should not be out that long. And if you are, you need to really rethink your life situation. All of your boomsticks in that boating accident. I didn't lose any of my boomsticks in a boating accident. I lost them in the divorce. And they're lying at the bottom of Polk County landfill right now. The police department even ended up being involved in the matter. So there is a record of it happening and probably a record of DPD saying, whatever. My hobby is sewing. I am proud to be able to say that I sewed 100% of my Coast Guard uniforms to everything that was required after issuance. I would put my name tapes on. I would put my name tapes on, my service tapes on, myself by hand. And if you knew me back then, you would know who I really am. Of course, you would either way, but I had this neat little trick. For those of you that have had name and service tapes on your uniforms, I wouldn't sew the ends. I'd leave them open so I could slide a pen in there. And then I got told not to do that again. Damn. Okay. I thought that was a much better idea than having it hang from the button part of the blouse, but, not my decision. Waiting for a knock on the door because of some of your statements and posts on Facebook. Okay, Bernie brings up an interesting thing. You say anything in a public forum, and it's open to everybody, including law enforcement. Okay, it's called plain view doctrine. Love you, Susan. Excuse me. It's called plain view doctrine. The police can then talk to you about it. I'm going up to DC and I'm going to sell me a pound of crack. Yeah, that'll get a knock at your door. What y'all don't know, or most of you don't know, is how Echelon really works. Echelon is watching everything all the time, right? But it's not every time you say something, they're going to come kick your door in, right? They're watching for keywords and they're watching for a consistency of those keywords. I could say bomb 3 times on this stream. And in the context of an explosive device, by the way, and Echelon will not pick up on it. All right? Or maybe it will. But then all it will do is flag this stream or that text message string, or that phone call, or this whatever, for somebody to go back and manually review. Hey, Mr. NSA agent, I've detected something and I think you need to look at it. Mandatory carry said bomb 5 times in 2 hours. Okay, let's go in and check it out. No, he's just fucking with us again. And I've done that before. Me and one of my cousins were on a phone call, cell phone call at that, which is much easier to intercept than a landline, ironically enough. And we made like 3 or 4 minutes of jokes about being terrorists just to piss the NSA off. That's how Echelon really works. And it's not actually listening into the conversation, it's just listening in for keywords. Echelon's actual name is some big abbreviation that I know I've heard and I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't even think I remembered it at the time. But it's a backronym for what they used to actually do. An embassy would have this big party and invite the brass from host country military or politicians or whatever to come on down. We'll have a nice evening. Well, the guys passing around the hors d'oeuvres and the champagne and all that, those were all fucking spies. All right? Every last one of them, everybody knew it. It wasn't a secret. They weren't actually listening to conversations. They were listening for keywords like specific cities or specific projects or specific countries, whatever it was, all those keywords that they were listening for. And they had different ways of signaling to handlers. If this little party over here in the corner of 4 people start talking about something that they were supposed to be listening for, they'd have some way of signaling to the handlers, there's something going on in this corner that you need to listen into much more carefully. It got easier with microphones, but they were been doing this since roughly late 1700s. It is absolutely known they were doing this. Echelon just became the high-tech version of listening in for those keywords to alert a handler to come listen much more carefully. Bernie, I guarantee whatever it was you said, it either didn't trip their algorithm, which, by the way, is the same algorithm that based on the same algorithm that Facebook uses for whether they're going to put you in FBP for another 30 days or not. Whatever it was you said wasn't enough to trip that algorithm. Just to be a fucking asshole, I tried a few times. I've never succeeded in tripping the NSA's algorithm. It doesn't help that when I'm doing these things, I'm also saying, oh, and by the way, hi, Mr. NSA agent. I know you're out there. Actually, this time he probably isn't, because I only said the word twice in a 2-hour stream. That's not going to trip the thing. Oh no, Ozzy. You got to be shitting me. 20 weeks? If you live in D.C., move out. It's hopeless finding an impartial jury. Well, that's why the judge can overrule. Although, yeah. District of Columbia, with the exception of very specific elected officials, should not even have a residential area. That's it. It shouldn't have a residential part. It should be just basically an office building city. I don't know why people were ever allowed to live there, at least within city limits. You live in Maryland or you live in Virginia. I don't care which, but you live outside of city limits, unless you're one of those elected officials. Even appointed officials should not be allowed to live in Washington, D.C. I don't know who exactly thought that was such a great idea, although I know it was a Jefferson Hamilton deal. So apparently both of them agreed. And George Washington must have acquiesced at some level or just been kept in the dark until it was too late. No! Nobody should be living in Washington, D.C., except the president, the vice president, and the members of Congress. The Supreme Court. Okay. The members of the Supreme Court. Even appointed military should not be living in Washington, D.C. End of my rant. You can have Washington West, Washington East. All right? And those could be pure residential, nothing but residences for hundreds and thousands of acres. Nobody else lives in Washington, D.C. Oh. Lake Mead. Okay. Right next to Jimmy Hoffa. Jimmy Hoffa's alive. Well, let me rephrase that. Jimmy Hoffa went into witness protection. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Oh, Ozzy. I did not know that. Am I correct to understand that you served in the Canadian Armed Forces? Oh, you work for a congressman. Never mind. On your way then. No. Actually, no. Nobody should be allowed to live in Washington, D.C. except the actually elected officials and the members of the Supreme Court. Bad man from Telford. Ozzy, after the stream, PM or email me who the bad man from Telford is, because I know this is ringing a bell, and it's the size of the fucking Liberty Bell, right? It's a 2,000-pound bell, and I just can't put two and two together. All right. We've wrapped up this early before, but I think I'm going to go on for a few more minutes. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I covered everything I needed to be covered. Okay. So shameless self-promotion. I now have a Tspring store. Right now, it's only one thing. A short sleeve t-shirt. I don't do that for the money, right? I really worked very... Oh, fuck you, Euros. You fucking Euros. It took me 20 fucking minutes of guess and check, despite the fact that I actually did use a currency converter twice to get it down as far as I could, to convert euros as far down as I could. Not that I'm mad, just very frustrated. At the end of the thing, I was not able to get euros down to zero, but I was able to get it down to basically a penny a piece, which is not even worth the trouble. please order one of the shirts to show your support for mandatory carry by wearing it from time to time in public. Yes. Okay. All right. I understand, Ozzy. Yeah. One of the things I considered for my live streams was a security uniform shirt. I'm going to be doing something else with the security uniform shirt related to Beyond Mandatory Carry channel. And it is what it is. Ozzy is asking, well, how about people that work for the members of Congress and the president and the Supreme Court justices? And what part of no did we not understand here, people? No. Nobody lives in Washington, D.C., period. If you're living in Washington, D.C., you're either an elected member of the government, a member of the Supreme Court, and that's it, or you're homeless and living in a dumpster behind a grocery store. I don't care what. Nobody lives in Washington, D.C. Nobody should be allowed to live in Washington, D.C. It's as simple as that. Hotels is one thing, but apartments and homes is another. By the way, you should not be allowed to live in a hotel in Washington, D.C. more than 30 days. I saw that one coming too. All right. God. Where was I? Yes. Oh. God damn it. Because I got off track about my hatred of roundabouts. Preview for the channel. And I don't know how to express this just yet. But inevitable consequences of bad decisions and for inevitable and foreseeable consequences of bad decisions. And yes, it's going to be comparing Sacramento and now Shasta County's roundabout experiences to gun control. Okay, it's failed everywhere it's been tried, and you're going to try it one more time. And don't fucking lie to me. I went through Sacramento's traffic calming project. So don't fucking lie to me. I did support gun control. I know where the intellectual bodies are buried because I helped bury some of them myself. So don't in any way try to lie to me. That rant is also going to touch on some of the political theories outside of gun control. Major political parties. All right. We will. Well, yeah, I really, really hate Antifa, so I'll pick on them for a second. Antifa says they're anti-authoritarian. Okay. But you want a socialist government. A socialist government, by definition, has to be authoritarian. There's no way around that. It's not possible. If you honestly don't know that at this point in your life, you're still a teenager. Excuse me, guys. I got to turn my cam off for a second. Oh, I don't like you to see that. Right. So don't lie to me, guys. Just be honest. You want to be slaves of the state. Okay. but be honest with me about it. On the other hand, they are honest enough about wanting a government in general. Um, so I'll give them their props for that level of honesty. There are others out there who are a whole lot less honest, and that's who I'm going to be picking on. Well, Ozzy says, well, only knowing you for a few months online does not seem to have calmed you. Or if it has, you might need a few more decades. Believe it or not, and ask Squatch, just yes or no. Have I gotten better or worse since I started live streaming? Yeah. Well, Bernie points at Antifa's. Okay. I will be generous and say Antifa maybe is confused. Maybe they are legitimately confused. Okay, fine. There are others that they're not confused. They know exactly where it's going. And I have screenshots to prove that they will lie to you. Those screenshots are not ready for public yet. They show who the speaker was. Because he is not here to defend himself, I will not show them to you. If he was here to defend himself, that'd be a different matter. Then we'd be having it out here about a dude fucking lied to me. You're lying to me now. You were lying to me before. I don't care what you've been doing for the last half century. Well, actually, I kind of do. You've been lying to everybody for the last half century, is what you just said. Okay, Ozzy says, if you're a conservative in the 20s, you have no heart. If you're a liberal in your 40s, you have no brain. If you're a moderate all the way through, you have both and always did. And yes, you can be a disturbed sociopath. And be a moderate, right? It's not about your heart or mind. That's about your mind getting broken. You cannot, however, be a psychopath in a moderate. That's a psychopath is somebody whose brain never worked properly. It's malfunctioned at construction, right? A sociopath is somebody whose brain malfunctions now because something has gone very wrong in their life. I was corrected last week. No, the week before. Apparently, you can be a sociopath after physical injury. Okay. To be a sociopath, you basically have to be able to turn it off and on to some degree. And it has to be caused by an outside influence. Oh, okay. But to be a psychopath, it has to be caused by an inside influence, and you can be able to turn it off and on to some degree. What? Okay, whatever. If you're both really smart and not evil, you're an anarchist leaning centrist. Well, no. I'm well above average intelligence. I'm a disturbed sociopath. I will fucking break your face. And if you really understood combatives, you would understand that saying break your face is something Apple should be very upset about right now. Fortunately, she doesn't. And I hate anarchists. All anarchists. Period. There's no discussion here. Right? Antifa wants to play with fire. Okay, let's teach him what fire can really do. Bernie wants to know how many people are watching right now. Well, okay. Bernie wants to know how many people are chatting. I think we're down to 3, maybe 4. And 6 watching. 6 watching according to StreamYard, not according to YouTube. YouTube will lie to you in a heartbeat. They will, if you are the right side, they will tell you, you got, let's say, 10 people watching. They will tell you 15, or at least they'll tell the entire world 15. If you're the wrong side, you have 10 people watching, they'll tell you there's 4. Or whatever it is that they adjust it to. I don't think there's 10 people watching right now. It's probably 8. Well, no, it is 6. StreamYard is telling me 6. So they're probably telling you guys 2, even though there's more than 2 people in the chat. Hey, Apple, come on. Don't fucking lie to me, babe. Moving right along. Ozzy, read a sci-fi book that scares me with how much sense it makes, and if it were true, what would be the consequences? Oh, you watched Moon is a Harsh Mistress? That's not fair. Believe it or not, Robert Heinlein was a second uncle, third uncle, something like that. On my dad's side, my paternal grandfather met him and knew him, and they were old acquaintances. I believe that was his uncle, Uncle Bob, and yeah. So I do kind of pick on Robert Heinlein quite a bit. Also, apparently, he met the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, because of Uncle Bob. A handful of people in your life, not necessarily your family. That's the truth. Beware of whom you put your trust in. Hey, guys, I put some trust in you guys. But, yeah, there's only 2 people I really actually trust right now. Papa Carrie and my younger brother. I don't trust my sisters. I really don't trust my sisters. And I did not trust my older brother before he passed away with a lot. Okay. I've heard of this a little bit, not enough to really speak on. Love you, Susan. Okay. We got about 20 minutes. There is going to be an afternoon stream. Okay, no, what you call a type 2 sociopath is a psychopath. Sociopath has empathy, does understand, and usually will, to some degree, regret their actions. I broke your face. Yeah, you know what? I didn't like this, but you didn't give me a choice, so Q2. A psychopath only thinks about what they want, what they need, whatever. Break your face. I wanted your girlfriend. Guys, That's an actual thing that has happened before. It was presented in a case or an episode of Cold Case, the TV series. Was it? It was not Boston. Son of a bitch. I can't remember. But Cold Case. Bodies found in the sewer system. Who is this guy? Oh, he's a escaped convict. Okay, how did he get down in the sewer system? Oh, well, it looks like he was murdered by his buddy, a psychopath who wanted the escaped convict's girlfriend. Oh, okay. No spoilers. They do solve the case. They get their man. And they got their real man. Okay, the real man reference. There was a corrupt cop involved. That happened. And when all was said and done, that's the guy that went to prison first. Okay. Okay. God damn it, I wish I remembered that episode. The psychopath was about to kill the escaped con because he wanted to rape the girlfriend. And the whole fucking world blew up from there. All they could do was hide the body in the sewer and hope nobody found it. Okay, we got about 15 minutes. Get home bag. You need one. I'm just going to tell you the basics. Have a little bit of money. Have a pack of cigarettes, an unopened pack of cigarettes. Ladies and ladies only bikini top. That way, well, in summer at least. That way you can disguise yourself as somebody who got caught in the middle of the chaos on your way to the beach or the pool or the whatever. Put the bikini top on. Most people will just leave you alone. Little bit of money, water bottle, a little bit of snack type food. Oh, what was the other one? With the exception of the bikini top, this is all stuff you could take from a liquor store and probably get away with. And then your everyday carry. So I'm going to go over my everyday carry list because I have 15 minutes left. My everyday carry list, and I can't show it on camera because it's all weapons, according to fuck YouTube. Multi-tool. Always, always, always. When I go to sleep at night, my multi-tool is somewhere nearby. It's not right to hand that I can grab it, if somebody's breaking into my house, but it's close enough that I don't have to look for it. It's also sitting right next to my gun, but that's totally separate subject. Your gun. Yeah, your gun or other weapons that you are going to carry on a daily basis. I am fond of brass knuckles, but I'm much more fond of pepper spray, and I will spray inside my house. I will spray into a crowd. I will spray any fucking where I can to end a threat. I don't even feel bad about it. I know once Daetslov passes under obviously a new name, somebody's going to run me up on a conditional exemption, a limited conditional exemption, because I don't have enough respect for pepper spray. I know it hurts people. I know it inconveniences people. I'm okay with that. Fuck you. You're innocent bystander? Well, yeah, but at least you're not dead. Well, no, that's not a very good attitude to have. Go ahead and try a third-party exemption on me. I'll stand in front of the judge and say, Your Honor, you're right. I've said those things, and I meant it. And would you rather I shoot everybody? Okay. Mr. Carey, we want to emphasize that you need to use a lot more care and caution. Get out of my courtroom. No, it was not just Justin. It was bad before him, as Ozzy says. I'm going to switch my ears real quick, guys. Okay. Matter of fact, my maternal grandmother, Mama Carey's mama, immigrated from Canada to the United States just before World War II, or maybe during, because there's photographs of them at their wedding. He's in his uniform. He was a Navy pilot trainee during the war when he had one very bad landing that ended his pilot's career. It didn't end his Navy career, but it did end his military pilot career. And after the war, he got out. It was bad back then. That's what part of the reason why she left. I don't want to get into that too much, Ozzy. I know, or I've heard a lot about this, and I don't want to get into that too much. That's a degree of conspiracy theory that is a little above my pay grade. Let's just put it like that. Okay. Everyday carry, multi-tool, gun, assisted opener knife. Any assisted opener knife is good enough. Mine is a folding trench knife, and I'm not giving it up. Fuck you. And a spare clip for your gun. Actually, kind of in that order of importance. Gun and other defensive tools. My folding trench knife, I keep for sentimental value from back in the day when I was homeless and I would sleep with that thing on. Because it's not safe to have a gun in your hand as you're sleeping, and it's not safe to be unarmed long enough to grab your gun when you're sleeping in the back of your car. I discovered that very, very quickly one night. Get home bag. Have your get home bag ready, because natural disaster, man-made disaster, something else, which it'll be something else most likely. Natural disaster is the most likely scenario. Earthquake, tornado, hurricane, volcanic eruption, all of these things are things that no matter what you do, you can't really stop them from happening right now. You can only try to control the degree of destruction, and you might succeed at that. Now you still have to get home. We're still, in the wake of every natural disaster comes people who prey on the natural disaster for their own benefit. You don't want to be part of that benefit. Simple as that. That's a cold, cruel, harsh thing to say, and it's the truth. After that, is a purely man-made disaster. Yes, I'm talking about the Chaz. Fuck you. It's the truth. you still need to be ready to just get home. Even if everybody in the world is right now is just thinking, I have to get home, or I have to evacuate, or I have to something else out of here. Great, good. You're all unified in this pure survival mode, thinking you still need to get home. 9017 is coming. I know people hate it when I talk about this, but it's true. 9017 is my theory that there is a terror attack coming. And believe me, guys, you have not even heard half of the theory. You've heard maybe a third, that it will be multiple drive-by or mass shootings by supposedly religiously motivated people. Well, yeah. You can claim to be any religion you want, but at the end of the day, what you're actually doing tells me what religion you're really from. I wish he was here right now to defend himself. I should have invited him. Okay, I might do that. There's a certain individual I used to be friends with who's a computer programmer. He would tell you that all of X religion is Satanists. Well, all Muslims are Satanists. No. But there are definitely certain people in the supposedly Muslim community whose God is looking up at us. Whose God is looking up at us. Because he's a computer programmer, I've always wanted to run this line past him. You're a computer programmer. How do you not know any program can be compromised, hacked? That's the truth. Okay. Ozzy says, if you want ideas for ladies to change appearance even without wigs or colored contacts, look up Taylor Momsen of the Pretty Reckless. Oh, fuck them. Going incognito in New York City between concerts. Just change styles. Okay, fair enough. People are not ready for what's around the corner. You know what? Actually, Bernie, the fact that you are here tells me that you're at least ready to hear it. You may not be ready, or you may not be as ready as you want to be, but you're ready to hear it. And yeah, all of anything is something is no, but a lot of religious leaders, corporate elites, and government officials are parasites. That's the truth. What? It is. And that's the way it is. I mean, guys, I'm also a religious leader. Okay, not much of one, but I am a religious leader. All religious leaders are parasites, Ozzy? You forget, I am a chaplain. There is a particular sect of Muslims, and I'll go there. It's the leadership of Iran, and they have turned the religion into their satanic cult. Yeah, that's the truth. Iran is run by a satanic cult. They want us all dead. That is what Satan has wanted since Adam and Eve. Oh no, Adam and Lilith. Adam and Lilith were around, and the Church of Iran, aka the government of Iran, mission in life is to make sure that happens. That's what COVID was about, and it failed. Good. And for those of you that think I'm picking on Muslims, no, there's some form of it in every religion. Period. I do not know of a religion that does not have somebody within it that has corrupted it into a satanic cult. That's the truth. There's one I'm thinking of, very unique to the United States, that started out that way. It was a Christian sect, and it got corrupted into a satanic cult. And that's the truth. All right. So, Niner 17 is coming. Have your get home bags ready, whether it's for Niner 17 or regionally appropriate natural disaster. And until this afternoon, keep calm and mandatory carry on.